Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rendezvous Podcast. I'm losing track. I'm losing track of the numbers, but
Myself.
it's another episode. We're here. We're back. It's been a while, but yeah, we're back. How is everyone? The classic question. How are you? How are you, Bangovich? You doing well?
I'm doing well. Honestly, it was like 27 degrees outside today. I was sunbathing. I had a really nice Sunday. Today we record on a Sunday, by the way. And yeah, feeling awesome. How about you, Bo?
I am graduating tomorrow. I'm stressed. Very
That's
stressed.
awesome.
Last exam. No, it's not awesome. It's the
Why
last exam,
not?
man.
Yeah,
The
you're gonna
last
pass
exam.
it. You're gonna
Yeah,
pass it
like the last
somehow.
exam, it comes on your hat, and that's how people will judge me. That's the problem.
Nah, you'll be good.
You'll be
Danish
good.
culture.
You'll be good, man. You'll be good. And then you're gonna have a really nice week of like celebrating, enjoying your life. It's
Oh
awesome, man.
man,
It's awesome. It's a
out
big
in the
step.
out in the big wide world of esports.
Big
Hell
wide
yeah.
world.
Yeah,
You love it.
it's yeah. I mean, you've already been in it for a while, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I might be retiring after
If you
this.
find a job at some point.
Might be
Um,
retiring.
all
My
right.
Gmail be like 0 emails.
All right, we've got a lot to get through this episode.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, Masters Tokyo has begun. We're not going to talk about it yet, though. We wanted to mention a few things first, and the first thing we want to talk about is the Twisten Shorty drive. I don't think we've done. Have we done an episode since
No,
No,
we
the
haven't.
things happened
we
with
haven't.
Twisten? No. Obviously, completely. It's a tragedy. It really is.
It's
Just terrible. One thing that has come out of it though is this shorty drive that's set up by Ryan Central. Really great initiative where every shorty kill, people are donating a certain amount. So I think there's been quite a few at Master Tokyo so far, and some in Challenges NA as well. But yeah, this is the website that's been set up, so you can go there, donate. It's going to mental health charities, so just a really great initiative. But yeah, it's really, really devastating.
It is really
Yep.
devastating. Maybe what is nice to say
Good
already,
kid.
like we got 2.4k already pledged by a lot of people from the community, and as well as the community, and you guys can join those and like just pledge something amount which you feel comfortable with. Other content creators like Tariq have joined, organizations have joined that same scheme of like raising money for charity for each shorty kill at the tournament, which I think is a very great thing and just shows the awareness of like this big tragedy. And yeah, I think heads up to all the people who like try to spread awareness on this topic.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there were things in other esports as well. They had moments of silences. I saw at the CS major and things like that, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's affected a lot of people.
The LEC also did one,
Yes.
Yeah.
so it's credible to see.
Yeah, it felt like people really pulled together for it, which obviously you never want to see something like that happen ever.
Yeah.
But it is good that the community's kind of rallied behind this cause, which is great. But yeah, so we thought that was important to cover. But let's move on to some of the more current things happening right now in Valorant. The first one we're going to talk about, just lightly touch on, is the addition of a new mode coming to Valorant, and that is Team Deathmatch. Valorant released a trailer a few days ago. Some people have played it, some influencers, things like that, and it's coming very soon, I think. How we feeling about it, guys? Bo, how you feeling?
It's fun. It's pretty fun actually. I think this is the best addition of like a game mode that Riot has made ever in like the lifespan of the Valorant, and it just goes to show, to me at least, that like they could have done deathmatch much better, much better, because like they basically put everything that we've asked for for deathmatch into this. Just
Yeah.
like just adding like the team part of it, which is just like. I think after this that they might do a change for just deathmatch itself, which I hope, and it's really cool to see actually like the mixes they make of like different maps. Like there are small hints of like Pearl and Bind. I believe it was it like
There's a bind one, a split one, and a scent one, I think.
Yeah, and they have some inspirations from other like maps,
I think
small
they
like
just
stuff.
merged the assets, right? They use the 3D
Yeah.
assets from like different maps and put them into one, which is like technically like a bit weird to see like Breeze assets combined with like, I don't know, Ascent. I don't know, like just
Yeah, I believe like the tower thing from Breeze
Mhm.
is on one of them.
Yeah.
Which is the middle part, and the game mode is pretty fun. Like I have zero complaints about it. This is actually I might actually play this a bunch more right now than ranked at the moment.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. I'm looking forward to it as well. Honestly, I was looking for a game mode to warm up and like practice some of the utility. Honestly, like I don't think that utility usage and ability usage in this game mode will transfer that much. But for example, if you play Wraith and you want to practice your double satchel, I think that's a good idea. If you're a Jet main and you want to just practice your knife kill with the ultimate, you can do that now in like a more realistic environment than doing it against bots. And if you're a Sova
If you
or
wa-
someone
yeah.
else, like there's so much potential to just practice certain aspects of the game. And honestly, for everyone who just wants to try hard and sweat in this game mode, I do think this is like it can be fun to just go for the actual like winning that, like just playing it for the sake of the game.
People
mode
did
itself.
enjoy it as like a tournament. I believe the Goose House made a small tournament for it, and people have enjoyed it. So
That's
definitely
actually
think
great.
that there is some potential in this like further along.
And
Honestly,
yeah, I feel like that because it's not so competitive as well. There's like
Yeah.
opportunity for if you want to play with people
It's
of
also
like
something
not your
fresh.
rank, or new players as well. Like sometimes
Yeah.
there'll be people picking up the game and they'll say, "I know you play. Like, do you want to play?" And this is the kind of good game mode for that. For people who aren't
Yeah.
so who don't want to get to the top level. Because
Yeah.
not everybody does.
Especially as a
Yeah,
new
exactly.
player, right? You can get overwhelmed with all the abilities, all the agents, everything which is possible in this game. And now you finally have a game mode where you can just jump in and you don't have the punishment of dying like first. Like imagine you play a Phoenix, you die first, and then like the round is over for 2 minutes. And this is like finally we have a
Yeah,
game mode where you
true.
can just jump in and try those things. I also do hope personally as a super tryhard sweat that they're gonna improve Team Deathmatch to more of a warm-up practice game mode now. That we have that Team Deathmatch mode where it's just dedicated to like having fun.
Okay, here's the only good thing I've had ever. This is the only positive I have about Overwatch.
Oh no.
They let you play deathmatch while you queue. I
Yeah.
need that. I
Yeah.
really need that. That would
Yes.
literally make people addicted to rank because they can just jump into a deathmatch, just wait till
Yeah.
the queue, play a rank match, get into deathmatch. It's a good warm up and it makes games more competitive.
Even the range would be okay. Give me the range while I queue
Yeah,
or while I load it.
yeah, okay, true.
Give me
The range is
anything.
actually
Take it.
better warming up than
I
deathmatch,
think,
to be honest, with
although I
all the
think they
people
might actually
camping.
have to they might actually have to increase queue times arbitrarily, because I feel like sometimes I'm queuing, I'm getting in games in like 20 seconds, and then if I have to queue into the range and then queue into a game,
No, that's true.
anyway.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
mean, there's a
Anyway, good
fast
game
queue
mode.
time.
Team Deathmatch, great addition. Looking forward
Yep.
to playing it.
Now fix deathmatch. Thank you.
Yes.
Honestly,
Also
I
add
think a
competitive
fix.
Swift play.
Bro.
Do not do that.
No.
A fix for
It
deathmatch.
would be fun, to be honest.
I feel like deathmatch would be so much better if they just put these new maps as like the deathmatch maps instead of
Oh yeah,
regular
definitely.
regular
You might
maps.
be
I don't
onto
know.
something.
I know people practice their
Oh.
angles and stuff in regular maps in deathmatch now, so maybe they want to do a mix where you can pick between the two styles. But I don't know.
If you can use those custom maps for like those new maps for custom games, there's so much potential to like 2v2 like custom
They
games and
should at
stuff
least
like
be
that.
on custom
That is
games. Yeah.
actually pretty cool. Like the potential just for content creators, or just generally people who have like friend groups and just play
Finally.
together custom games. You can now use hopefully those newly created maps, which are
Yeah.
not built for bomb site like this. How is this game mode called?
Yeah.
Like is diffusing? Like I don't know, but yeah, I think that is actually a great potential. I hope they're gonna enable them for custom games. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I think they should
Finally,
do.
Team Liquid can make another in-game like hide and seek video.
Yeah, or like some
Yes.
challenge. I'm gonna let Nats and Sulkas do some jumping puzzles again. Or I don't know.
All right, let's talk about it. Masters Tokyo, it has started. I personally
Turtle.
have really enjoyed watching it. Even though it has been quite early for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't managed to catch all of the games, I will be honest. But most of them, I'd say. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far. The production has been great. The crowd has been excellent. Has there been anything?
Crowd has actually been next level, to be honest.
Yeah.
It has been so. I wouldn't even call it satisfying. Like this is absolutely like the most satisfying crowd I've ever heard, because like they just all just complete silence and just like one small play, and it's like, oh my fucking god, it makes these plays so much better.
I wish they tune it up a little bit. I think they're like a bit quiet.
Yeah, turn it up, definitely.
Yeah, turn that shit up. I don't need to cast this. With all the respect, they are all great, but give me more like fans. I love that.
On the Japanese broadcast, I think it is louder.
Oh, nice.
But I think there's something to do with like if they use too many crowd mics, it will pick up the Japanese casting like in the arena more on the English.
You could also hear it sometimes and all of that. Yeah.
So I think that's why they're a bit hesitant. But I agree with you. It would be cool to hear more of the crowd. But it has been great. Even like they have the right reaction to stuff. Those funny moments like Tui's when you had the trigger discipline moment against EG, stuff like that.
It's just like whoa.
Yeah, and they're laughing and stuff because it's it's so I really.
They also
really
kind of made, I believe, it was Jajimo. They kind of made him realize that there was somebody there.
Yeah.
I feel like he had I mean he was like 15-20 seconds that he was like looking the other way though, so I feel like yeah.
But I think like the sound probably gave him a hint, because all the other parts of the match was like completely still and all of that, and you just kind of.
Also in the Liquid EDG match, in the 1v1 Soulcast versus Chichu, I think. Was it Chichu? And he dropped down and he wasn't checking like the call out where you can like slide down, and like Soulcast was holding an angle and the crowd was like, whoa. And at this moment, it must be close. He can't be in tree, right? So Chichu went to check on Soulcast. Soulcast won the fight eventually, but still, I mean, but this is on LAN. Like, this is what we are here for, right? I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like they don't do it in a way where it's like giving away something in terms of like giving an advantage to a team. It's just literally like, you watch this live and you're like, oh my god, what is happening? It's like, it's just so. It's
not like NA fans who's like, look behind you.
Like they're going B. Like, oh, come on, man. Like, come on.
Oh my god, we're gonna see that soon. We're not at champs yet. We are at Tokyo.
I hope the crowd is as good, if not better, at Champions, because there'll be more people for the last few days. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Master Tokyo, I've really enjoyed it so far. And the first games that happened were the group stage matches, of course.
All right,
we don't want to go through every match, of course. We're going to go through the teams.
Should I just start off with this? Shitmea in shambles. Absolutely buffoon. This is the worst region I have ever seen, says every single NA fan until the playoffs happened. Oh man, people, it always happens during these group stages when like EMEA teams in the group stages are doing not that good. Like every single NA fan goes crazy, like Shitmea, absolutely the worst region, everything. And then you turn up to the playoffs and it's like steamroll.
Yeah, but that goes both ways. That goes both ways. If an NA team loses, then the EMEA fans go crazy.
That goes both ways. I gotta say though, I think 2023 so far, we had actually EMEA teams go out early, but back like the last years, basically, I do think like EMEA teams been pretty strong internationally, at least going into playoffs.
I mean, yeah, we've had, of course, the teams who had visa issues and had to play with substitutes. Like, for example, Fnatic. That was when
like FPX.
Yeah, FPX went on and won the entire tournament.
But let's talk about Na'Vi and Foot, who were the two teams, the two EMEA teams who went out in the group stage. I'm just gonna go on a slight tangent here for 30 seconds. Okay. If I hear one more person call it EMEA, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna rage.
Amelia.
Anyway, tangent over. I just hate EMEA. Anyway.
Yeah. Shall we start with Na'Vi? Yeah.
And Foot. Yeah, Na'Vi were the team. Were they the first team to go out? Not quite. No, they were. They were the first. No, they weren't.
I think
they were not the first team to go out.
Yeah, it was Attacking Soul first. Yeah.
But Na'Vi were the first EMEA team to go out. They went out in 2 games, won 1 map in their first match, but not in the second one. So, how do we feel about Na'Vi? How do you think? Why do you think this happened? Because they were, some of the favorites to win the tournament from some people, even though their playoffs performance wasn't that great and they came in as the 4th seed. What do you think went wrong?
All right, should I maybe
you can go first? Sure.
I mean,
20
like
minutes later.
looking at Navi, when you look at their player cams, there's a stark difference between how they used to be, and now. They seem not that relaxed anymore. It's a bit more. They feel pretty pressured, and I think it has right now to just do with Navi not being in the best headspace when it matters. So they are kind of stressed, and I think I'll say this, like, I think the problem is they don't have artists. And that's just like, if you listen to the interviews
Are you saying
with
that from like a comms
NRG,
perspective?
yeah, from like a comms perspective,
Right.
because like if you look at it, like NRG, they said like during all the interviews, like artist brings up the mood in his team. He's very
Yeah.
good at like bringing people back up because he's mad funny, and he just doesn't care. He'll say what he wants to say. And is
Yeah.
that maybe something that Navi is missing right now? Are they missing a artist kind of person in this team?
It's an interesting point you're making up here, right? Because like
Because when the mental booms, they're already out. And that's what
Hmm.
I've at least been like seeing for like the past couple of games. Might
honestly,
be just my observation.
no, honestly, even when we were playing against him, like I was at the game right against them here where we lost, where we had Harmy as a stand-in, and then like in the playoffs, and every time I was seeing Navi, they definitely didn't look like super relaxed. I think they still did, like they didn't look pressured or something, but I always had the feeling like something's
Yeah.
going on in terms of like, I think some of the players have been sick as well, and the schedule been brutal. And I do think that
Yeah.
Navi is one of the teams. Like, if they had like a week off and then they come here, I think they would have looked way, way better. I think they were like the biggest victims of not having a break. Same goes with Energy, I guess. Like a lot of teams like suffered from the schedule. But I do see the point you're making. I do think that it's actually a valid point to make, because if I take a look at the like every time we matched them and we played against them, there's not this one guy in the team who's like constantly trying to like lighten up the mood, or is like doing some jokes. Of course they're like still chill and like polite to each other, but there's not an artist, or like there's not that safe or yumpy guy who's just barking and like just makes like the entire energy of the team going like into like a different space. I think that's actually a valid point you're making here. And if we look at I just have the match history open right now from Navi, it's actually crazy to see they lost like 5 out of the last 6 series, and they only won 3 maps, which is crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
3 out of like the last 6 matches, only 3 maps they won, which is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like the point about artists is a strong one, and I think a lot of it is that kind of mental thing, but then also in the game, they're not. It's like those players like artists. I feel like Foxy9 on DRX did it when he was playing. Sometimes they will just go for plays that they in their head believe to be the best thing, but they might not say it necessarily, and they're not pre-planned, and they'll just go for it. And that is what can sometimes bring teams over the line, because the other team is just not expecting it.
Also, just to clarify, I don't think CNET is a problem. I don't like he's a real player and all of that. It's just a team environment. Before people like suddenly think I just call out CNET. It's not. He's a good player. He's been putting up the stats even. So
And also, he's been playing a lot of Raze, which is not his comfort role.
yeah,
His comfort role is that jet op. That is what he plays.
Yeah.
But Na'Vi are not in a position in terms of team comps to where they're comfortable just putting in perma-gel on every map, like with Aspas or I mean, even thinking about like a CNED Neon, that just sounds weird. I don't know.
Yeah, even though his race, I gotta say, like, of course he's like not the best race in the world, but it's not like it doesn't look that bad. I feel like he's still doing a good job.
Punters on Raze, please.
I mean,
Put Punters on Raze.
maybe
Let's
try
go
that.
artists.
Honestly, it's like CNET on Sage back in Ascent days on Bind was always pretty good. Honestly, that's a viable
Yeah, it
pick.
used to work at least.
Yeah, he at least didn't wall off his team
Yeah.
like Artist did. What? Didn't happen, right?
No.
But on
Do
the other hand,
not-
I
do not
gotta
remind me.
give Navi some slack though, because both maps against EDG been overtime matches. It could have been very much a 2-0 in favor of Navi, but it wasn't. And also, I do think out of all the teams from Tokyo who could lose and go to LCQ, which Navi is going to do now. This is the EMEA team which has to go to the LCQ from all the teams which are attending Tokyo. I do think Navi still has the best chances of making it. There's like roughly like a 4 weeks break between the start, like them dropping out of Tokyo and them playing in the LCQ.
We actually forgot to add something to like the podcast. Now that I think about it, should we actually just real quick talk about that, since we already have about Navi, and seeing as this might be the only time we talk about LCQ? Benji Fishy is joining Team Heretics, reported by Alejandro. It's reported by Alejandro, and like if you know Alejandro is always correct. I can also confirm it, so don't worry.
But you're not always correct. But whatever.
I am not. I am maybe not the most credible leaker back in my day, but fuck that. Anyways,
Okay.
so
here's my 4 words for that. They're still not winning. Okay, let's move on.
I mean, true.
No, I'm joking.
True.
No, I really like Benji Fishy, and I think he's a great player. But
I do think so too.
I just think the team is too fractured to like pull out a crazy winning run.
I do think that they could maybe do a little upset, knowing Benji.
Well, if Fnatic or Liquid win Tokyo, then there's 2 slots in the LCQ. So then I'm starting to think, them. We don't know what's going on with Vitality yet, of course.
Yeah.
Giants.
Giants look
and then
good,
who
honestly.
else is it? It's like Koi and KC. Then I'm thinking, yeah, they could do it. But now, Navi are the favorites.
Yeah, Navi are the favorites. And also, I'm so confident they will do it. I'm confident.
Yeah, I actually gotta like observe this. Like, Karmine Corp isn't allowed to make a roster change, even though Newzera has like quote unquote literally left the team. But that's because like compared to Team Heretic, Zeke had like a back injury, which is why they were allowed to get a new player.
But I think it is kind of crazy though, because they'd said that it wasn't to do with that. So
did you see that Zeke VLR thing where he just commented like, "I didn't have a back thing," or it was unrelated? I just said it so they can get a sub. Or like that's so mad. Oh my god,
crazy, isn't it?
I would never pick this guy up just for that one comment. Honestly,
the entire Team Heretic situation is just messed up.
I actually think BBL could like make a good.
BBL could actually do something.
I agree.
In LCQ, but we'll have to see.
Hearing they've been cooking, there's definitely something coming up.
Imagine Karmine Corp pull out the dub.
That would actually be a pretty solid timeline. It would help the French scene.
That would be crazy. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with LCQ.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the actual relevant things. Masters.
Yeah, we kind of talked about Navi. Yeah. I think next on the list is Foot. I'll be honest, I don't think they really had a chance to get out of this group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Evil Geniuses looked so good. I guess they could have capitalized on like a faltering DRX, we could say, but
yeah.
DRX
the only way I actually could have seen it happening was if they won against EG and basically went from that momentum.
Yeah, but that wasn't happening, I don't think. I
mean, if they didn't have Demon 1,
that's
be another
thing,
story.
Right?
That's true.
Demon 1 arrived like out of nowhere in a way, so Foot has to play against the EG, which looked different than they probably expected. And even though like they played EG, they got one map into overtime. They were one of the closest teams facing EG so far. But EG is just on a run, and DRX is DRX after all. Even though they haven't had the best tournament yet, we're going to talk about this later. But still, DRX is DRX, and like getting out of that group was very difficult.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be difficult for Foot, and it proved it. DRX. They're just like on that last Haven game, it was like 1-1 going into the final map. It had kind of been close in the series between DRX and Foot, and then DRX just had an 11-1 defensive half on Haven. And it was just like that's the difference in class between these teams. I think Foot are just unrefined at the moment, but hopefully they can get some good practice in before champs. Scrim some of these teams while they're still in Tokyo, if they still are. I don't know, and then pull it back. I'd love to see them succeed. In Kiwi had some great performances, so
given the fact like how much they improved from lock-in and like now facing even better teams in Tokyo, I do feel like this, like I have a lot of like hope in Foot, like learning out of the mistakes they made in this tournament, fixing them in time for champions, and then looking more dangerous like they already did in champions.
Regarding Foot, I didn't know that Ada Captain was this good at English.
Yeah,
Like during the press
yeah.
conference, I expected them to have like a Turkish interpreter, but no. Instead, Ada Captain just went fucking ham with his English.
Mm.
It had a bit of a thick accent, but
you
might
can't blame them.
actually. No, yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, it's
Could
still
actually
fine.
see him being on an international team in the future.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
And he's a
foot
great
guys.
player.
The foot guys are all really
Yeah.
nice as well.
I mean, Foot
Talking-
tried. I believe,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Footballist who tried to go international at the start of partnerships when they
Oh.
were.
I gotta add
during the
something
offseason.
towards Atakaptan. Like every time we play foot or they are in the facility and we were outside like just playing football or something. Some people might seen it in the Liquid vlog. This guy has the most positive vibes. We were playing about vibes like in Navi. At the captain, I swear, you can't have bad vibes with this guy on the team. This guy is just like you're with him and you like just already feeling like, man, just already happy. Like it's just and like
Okay.
and
Note
Yumpy and Ada
note
Captain.
for myself.
Yeah,
I got
that.
a note for myself. Okay. Add a captain potential replacement for Redgar if he performs badly. Good. Okay.
What? No, Sha. Even though Yumpy loves him.
I
But
I am taking reporter notes.
no, but he's a
What,
great
say
guy.
Full-time IGL?
What is happening, guys? What are you guys cooking? I'm just saying, Atta Captain is such a nice guy, and I do feel like he's like lifting the mood of this team. And he was one of the players who got swapped in during the season. And from that moment, I think was it during the season? Yeah, but since like he wasn't on the starting roster from the get go, and now Foot looks better. And I do think they're gonna learn from that, and they're gonna look better in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Honestly, to be honest, I think it was just a case of there can only be so many good teams. There can only be 8 top 8 teams.
Yeah,
that sounds stupid to say, but it's like, you look at the teams that qualified, EG and DRX. EG obviously had an incredible form right now, and then NRG and Edward also, like, there can only be so many good teams, and I think Foot, they just weren't, they weren't in crazy form. They're a good team, but they just couldn't break into it. So, but I think they can be proud with the performances they showed, I think.
Yeah.
We'll talk briefly about the final 2 teams in the group stage that went out. We saw them in the video that was playing just a few seconds ago. T1 and ASE. We'll start with ASE because they didn't really do too much. They took a map off of Foot, but they were okay, and they did some stuff against DRX that was interesting.
Yeah. I
Made
mean,
it close.
To quote some of the other people, these were not life days, because life, like, if he has like a good day, he will literally just beat Demon 1 but 10 times better. He just did not have those days.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to ask of someone. I know this isn't his first LAN, obviously, with Edward Gaming and Champs, but with his first LAN with this team, and it's different, isn't it? So I don't blame them for that, and I don't think anyone was expecting them to have like out of the 2 Chinese teams, I don't think they were the team who was going to make the run, as we've seen.
But one observation I actually had, like, Monk, he looks like a player that we need to like keep our eyes on for the future. That guy had some pretty good moments. So
they kept calling him Monk on the cast.
Monka.
And it may well be Monk, but I feel like it's Monk, but I don't know. It was just funny to me. But yeah, you're right. They have some really interesting individuals on that team in terms of like the decision making that they take, and you're right. We should.
Yichin also
keep
looks
an eye
pretty
out for
good.
them.
Yeah, he did actually look good. But also one thing we have to mention, that was their first international LAN. They haven't been at lock-in. They haven't been like in any other tournament. They never they have scrimmed apparently like DRX and some teams from the Pacific region, so they're not completely strangers to.
To remind you, like, before Life joined them, they were like a tier 5 team in China.
Tier 5 in China.
they were absolutely they were like bottom bracket every single tournament I saw them in. But then when Life came on that team, it suddenly skyrocketed. They won it all.
And
but that's the interesting thing, though. Sorry, go on.
No, what I want to say is like Life was previously on the Edward Gaming, which we're going to talk about.
He got
very
replaced
soon
by
as well.
Smoggy.
Yeah, because some people might not be aware of the Chinese league. He got dropped, not like swapped for Smoggy on EDG, and has then joined ASE, and ASE since then looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a map off Foot. They took Haven off them, and Life wasn't off the back of Life just playing crazily. It was just genuine, good Valorant. So I'll take it. I will take that. And like I said, there can only be so many top teams. You know,
Sure.
they
One
can still
thing,
look good and not. You know,
maybe for
make
this
it to
entire
playoffs, so.
Tokyo and the entire international narrative, like, is that not a single team has looked bad, if that makes sense. Like, every team showcased they can play good Valorant. We have 2 teams from China. People were like, can they like really perform? But even the region with the least amount of like experience in terms of like just the game not being released has showcased great potential and great Valorant so far. So just thinking about that and looking into the future, what like how much the game gonna evolve and like the play styles and like just competitive, like how competitive the game gonna be. It's just crazy to think about.
I always love the Bangovich wholesome takes. Always gotta
Right?
love the Bangovich wholesome takes.
True.
And very quickly, T1 actually very
Yeah.
nearly made it.
Such
In that
heartbreak.
NRG series, they nearly made it in 2. A very
Yeah.
close Pearl as well. I mean, kind of all 3 maps were quite close.
Yeah.
Yeah, look there on that last map, T1, 2
Which
rounds away from
also
taking it.
you could see it on 2 different ways. Either T1 looked good or NRG looks shaky.
I think both, honestly.
I
Yeah,
think honestly both, yeah.
honestly
Yeah, I think
there were
T1
some good moments. Especially like Munchkin has really shown up as of recently.
very much agreed.
People are really like hating on him during like the Pacific League because he was underperforming a lot of times, but like as of recently he's been showing a better form than like he's ever actually shown on other teams. Like
he hit some
especially
nasty sheriff kills. Did you see that? Like he
yeah.
with the sheriff, like he just killed everyone. Unstoppable.
Mm.
I mean like
Yeah,
he
he
was
pulls
also
out
he was named the Sheriff God back in the beta.
if he pulls out that prelude to Chaos Vandal in like a 1v2, I'm like, this guy, you know, had some seriously nice one taps. There was like the 1v3 that he almost got against Edward in their second match where Chi Chi like peaked at just the wrong time.
Wait, let me check actually.
What is he cooking? But yeah,
I
they were
might have
close.
him.
Honestly, I think in that
Yeah,
Edward
okay, I knew it.
rematch.
Okay.
Oh god.
The reason why Munchkin is so good with the damn sheriff is because he used to be like a Cassidy main in Overwatch. He was actually one of the best like Cassidy players back in his day. So.
I could tell
makes
just by
sense.
his sheriff kills he did this tournament. Like honestly, I've seen some clips. Like I was like, man, this guy is hitting those shots. He stepped it up. But overall, I think like T1, like they look good in the Pacific region and in the playoffs. But I don't know. For me, for whatever reason, it looks like they finally found that groove and like they're to be taken serious going forward.
The only worry I have is that I feel like they're kind of a rollover team. Like I feel like they'll look good until another team looks better, if that makes sense. In this rematch against Edward Gaming, I mean, I imagine it was extremely hard not to feel the pressure. You've already beaten them, but then they're coming off a hugely like pushing momentum win. Kang is like shouting, saying, "We're gonna send you home." He apparently said on the Chinese broadcast that Sire player's hands would be shaking when he thought of him. Like,
Oh, that's so fucking.
you know how cool this guy is. Yeah, everybody's kind of rooting for EDG in that game as well. I think it was tough, but that's what I mean. I hope T1 are not like just the gatekeeper team where it's like, oh, if you look like bad, then you're worse than T1. If you look good, then you're better than T1. I hope they're not that, but we'll have to see how they develop at Tokyo. Not at Tokyo, at Champs.
Yeah.
And if they can get out of that group. If they get an easy group, I think they can. But if they get like a group of death again like this, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Also, it's quite scary to let Autumn cook for this long. Like he has quite a lot of time to cook.
Look, I just
so
respect
it can
the
either be a
improvements they
good thing
made,
or
to
a
be
bad
honest.
thing.
You think back to where they were at lock-in, losing to Fury in the first round, not losing, getting absolutely destroyed, and then they've come back, showed a good performance here. So, yeah.
Like
So definitely
one question: have every single player of T1 played in Overwatch or in Valorant in Los Angeles, like in NA?
No, T1, I believe Intro and Ban they haven't, and Zeta they haven't been Overwatch players.
But like
Zeta
Ban,
is from CS.
But everyone has like
Valorant in NA, though.
Valorant in NA, right?
So is
Like,
Ban.
yeah, everyone has like a
No,
history. Like
Intro,
in,
not Intro. He hasn't
Intro's
been
not
in
playing.
They're not playing Intro.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still kind of here and there, but
I mean, they haven't played him at this.
No.
They didn't play him at Tokyo. So,
but the starting roster basically all have played in NA, so it's kind of interesting arc to see them all return to LA to champions.
True.
I think that's kind of cool storyline.
I didn't even think about that, but Good point.
Definitely.
Good
They
point.
get the NA buff. Oh wait, they have played NA. Everyone has played NA in the Ludwig Tarek Invitational, right?
Oh, of
Ah.
course.
Except
Very
intro.
true.
Yeah, and they
He
didn't
wasn't
work with
picked up back then.
Oh, okay.
Intro's gonna like get subbed in, like elimination game, and then they're just gonna win every match. They're gonna win the whole thing.
The
That's
reverse
what's gonna
Foxy
happen.
9. What?
Bo wishes. Bo wishes.
I wish.
Yeah.
All right. Group stage.
Done.
They left. They were out. They were on the plane home, and we made it to the playoffs.
Oh boy.
They're obviously not finished yet as of recording this and releasing this.
Yep.
Yep.
But we are currently at the point where all of the round 1 matches have been played. All of the upper round 1 matches and all of the lower round 1 matches. I think we're going to start with the teams that have already been eliminated.
Pretty big surprises here.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
So let's go with DRX, I think, who have been eliminated in 2 matches in the playoffs. Of course, they played in the groups, but in the playoffs, they did not look good. Let's put it like that. They did not look good.
This is
It's heartbreaking.
This is probably the worst DRX has looked.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I would agree with
this
you.
This is actually, I'm sorry to say it, but this was not like, they didn't even play their own playstyle anymore. It was just like, there was nothing special about DRX. It was just like mid. There was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Mm.
I sadly gotta agree. Like it didn't look great, honestly. Like, and also they did the Foxy 9 thing again, where Foxy 9 loses one series and they just swap in Zest, and Foxy 9 is like on the bench immediately. Like this, we have been talking about that. We have been asking Stacks about it in the interview and stuff like that. It's I don't know.
Speaking about that, check it out.
Speaking about that, yeah, we
down
got
below.
to have here this guys. We have an interview. You can make sure to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Wait, also quick shout out. Thank you, Riot, for letting us interview Stacks.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank you very much. I hope we can do some more interviews in the future. Very cool.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also
of
Stacks
yours-
Stacks during the interview, he was kind of, it kind of sounded like he was not agreeing with the whole situation between Zest and Foxy 9. Which kind of gives me red flags for how the team is doing right now internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
this
think the
is
fact
just not...
I don't think I actually think less than like 10% of people who were predicting this matchup without something, obviously, for playing for Paper X, would have predicted Paper X to win.
Yes.
When we say they're playing with a streamer, I mean, CGRS is like,
I mean, he's
not
also
a player.
gamer.
Like,
Yeah,
he
but he's
plays
also-
I mean, like,
games,
he used to be a CS player
Yeah, I mean, he used to be a PUBG player as well.
and an Overwatch player.
Yeah, he's played everything. But
He's
like,
played everything.
he's not played Valorant at a top level. It is the equivalent of Sentinels being at Tokyo and subbing Tarek in. Okay, maybe
Shroud.
Well, I mean,
no, not even
Yeah,
Shroud, because I don't even think
Yeah,
I wouldn't compare
maybe.
Cigars was not on the level like Shroud, right? Shroud and like Tarek was like major winners. But I
Yeah.
think Cigars was like just playing professionally and not in a tactical shooter.
That's crazy. That is crazy. And they've beaten DRX.
Yeah.
That to me
2-0.
says so much about DRX. And of course, we'll talk about Paper X and the performance they put up. But in terms of just looking at DRX, I think it's easy to blame Stacks, just by looking at the numbers and some of the decisions that he's making in game. But like we were saying, I think he's very clouded in terms of outside of the game at the moment, just with how the roster's going.
Yeah.
We've seen it with countless teams, like even you think about Disguised or Sentinels over the season. I'm not trying to just farm the clout there. I do have a point. That with countless roster changes like that, going back and forth, it just doesn't seem to be beneficial. And also, he's IGLing. Let's not forget that.
That is true.
And also, like, I watched the NRG match, and it really seems like Stacks was really trying, and then the rest of the team was kind of more like, okay, this might actually be over now. You could see he was very stressed during different situations of that match, and it just like I just can't understand why they need to like keep doing this because it's the same thing that like they did back in the day with like Lucia. They just they just kept like using it as a sixth player, and it just confused the team.
Yeah,
It's
I think so. I agree.
It is confusing. And
you can also think about like I believe some people were calling out Stacks for a bit of like rude comments during the press
the
conference.
press
But you
conference
got
after the game.
but you got to remember like how emotionally bad this is gonna like take a toll on you.
Yeah.
Especially this performance. Like you've been shaky during the group stages. You've had zero time to like really like get some stuff set in and everything, and now you just like you're out of the tournament, and I don't know. This is just not ZRX I used to see. That's basically all I can say about it.
Yeah, I think when Marco has a 0.64 rating
that
in a
is.
game,
I've never
you
seen
know
that.
something like is
Yeah.
not right. Because you never see that. You just never see that. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. The vibe seems off. And even in this NRG game, like yeah, they made it close on Pearl, but like NRG are not playing that well in my opinion. Who knows? They'll probably go on and win the tournament. I've said that, but this wasn't like two competitive teams facing off. It didn't feel like that. It had the vibe of like, DRX just weren't. They're just not good enough at this point in time. And I put out a tweet earlier about what Stack said in our interview, which was that before this tournament they kind of had a mental boom or a mental explosion. I think is at least what it got translated as, and that they were in the worst place they'd ever felt as a team. Which, considering the emotions we saw of them when they went out in 5th, 6th multiple times in a row. When was that? Masters Copenhagen?
Yeah, Masters Copenhagen and Reykjavik.
And Reykjavik,
No,
yeah.
it
Was when they went out to Zeta. That was like, that which must have been crushing. And the fact that he says, they lose the Pacific playoffs, and he's saying they're in the worst place ever as a team, I think that's got to be, some kind of internal issue that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
What would you guys do with Foxy9? Would you just stick with this 5 roster for champions, or would you keep this 6-man rotating stuff in, or?
I would not be rotating. I would make a decision. It doesn't even matter which decision it is. They just have to make a decision. I don't care if it's Zest. I don't care if it's Foxy9. Just make a decision and just play with those 5 players. I don't see a world where it makes sense to like let Foxy9 drop one match and then like, no, Foxy9, you're not good enough. We're gonna play Zest. Like this must be feeling so hard on like your mental. As like I don't know, Foxy9 seems to be a very young player, and then like you just swap him out after dropping one series, which is not even your fault because you did exactly what you were supposed to be doing. I don't know. Just decide whatever it is, one player.
I think
this 6-man.
I think this is a better question for the coaches. This is like the decision that the coaches need to make now, and not keep like switching it out and in.
I mean, Marco at the start of before the Pacific League, Marco went on. It was in an interview and said that he thought Foxy9 was the best player in the world.
Yeah.
And obviously we haven't seen that. But if you don't, I know they played with him through the Pacific split, but if you don't put him in for these big pressure games, how do you expect him to be good in those situations? You can't then, you don't play him in the lower finals and the grand finals.
You're training up a potential future challenge, so you should give him the time for that. And if not, you should just let him play in challengers.
They qualified to Tokyo with him, and then as soon as they qualified for the games that didn't mean much, they'd sub him out. I don't, but it doesn't mean much in terms of qualification. But the pressure is still quite a lot, obviously, because you're in the big arena. And then they put him back in for Tokyo. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think he is a good player with lots of potential, but
I agree.
I don't know.
It kind of feels like they just want to have a scapegoat, and just like swap him out just to be like pointing the finger like, oh yeah, Foxy9 was a problem, that's why we lost. So let's go back to what we know. Like this kind of how it feels, because like every time it went well, they're like, okay, cool, it works. And when it
imagine being like a football coach and basically, okay, we've got this young new kid, let's put him in for like one match. Oh no, he didn't perform that well because he's maybe a little bit more stressed, a little bit more anxious about his performance and all of that. And then you just say, okay, listen, you're no longer playing. All right, simple as that. You got to prove to me that you're better than this. You're not playing.
But it's more like
That's
he's scoring like
like
for 10 weeks in a row, and then one game he's not scoring, and he's like on the bench. You're not playing anymore,
yeah.
bro. You're not scoring, out. Like that's kind of like I don't know. It feels so
That is a too
weird.
drastic.
It's like it's like playing a player all the way through the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
You finally qualify, and then for the last few games of the qualifying stage, you just leave him out. And then you get to the World Cup, you play him in his like biggest game ever, and he doesn't like score a goal, and you're like, get out, like you're not playing. It's just really confusing.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call out
don't know.
Termi, but I rate him very highly as a coach. But I do think he's like running away or hiding like from a decision. There is a decision to be made before they go to LA. They have to fix that. They have to figure out what is the problem and like just address it and work on it. Because if they go to LA with that mentality, with that like question mark on the 6th position, they're gonna get out in the groups or gonna just do exactly the same thing. Get out of groups barely, don't look that good, and once they face a team which is actually good, or I don't know,
Also,
just Paper X, they go out.
It's kind of like annoying for Zesh too, because like he's always been the one who is like almost like cut from the team, but then he's like, oh no, actually, never mind, we might actually keep you for this and that. It's just like a loophole. It's just like it's also not good for him.
Also, he's really good.
Yes,
I like this.
It's pretty consistent. Yeah,
He's a really good player. Like I feel like if he was on T1 or like a Gen G, I feel like he'd be one of the top performing players on one of those teams. But
I agree.
He's in and out, like you said, and I don't know. I don't understand what is going on there.
the
Which I think
DRX
is the worrying
dilemma.
thing.
It is
the
actually a
DRX
DRX
dilemma.
dilemma. It is it. I hope they can solve it because I rate this team highly. I love the players and I think they're all great, but they have this elephant in the room. They have to like now is the time to address it. If they don't address it, I don't know. The offseason is going to be wild for this team.
Yeah,
I still have hope though. I still have hope because this team has the quality.
Yes, they do. They do. Okay, the second team that has gone out into, which is probably the most shocking thing that's happened at this tournament so far, maybe bar the loss that they took to exit the tournament. Loud have gone out in 0-4 fashion in maps. They did not win a single map this tournament.
It's
and
crazy.
I'm not
I'll
gonna
be
lie.
honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why, but I'm getting Loud 2022 like Masses Copenhagen vibes.
What, you think they're gonna come back to champs and just destroy?
I mean, if they don't, that's pretty disappointing. I'll be honest. I'm just kind of feeling like, okay, this is basically the same thing that happened to Loud like during Copenhagen, but then you look at the matches and like, okay, they actually look much worse now
Well,
than they
it
did
does
at
fit the
Copenhagen.
script, doesn't it? Like second at the first tournament,
Yeah,
going out in instantly in the second tournament, and then third tournament, who knows? Champions win.
Actually, look at
No,
this.
winning it all.
The last time they lost 2 games in a row was Master Copenhagen, and since then they
Mm.
never lost 2 series in a row.
Yeah, but
Until
also
now.
I gotta be honest. Like, if I were Tui's and that situation happened, I'll be boomed the entire week.
I don't know.
That's
I think
man.
the thing is, when you're coming into this playoff bracket,
Yeah.
you're thinking, okay, I can understand, I can get losing to EG. They're in great form, etc., etc. We know EG, fine. You go down to the lower bracket, you're playing against an Edward Gaming, who have just lost, by the way, so they haven't got as much momentum as they may have done, right?
It's the Zeta division.
I can totally get, right, even in that Zeta division game against Liquid, in that first lower round of playoffs, it was close. Liquid made it close, right? But this it wasn't close at all. And sure, maybe without some heroics from Edward on Fracture, it might have gone the other way. But even then, I still think ETG would have won that third map. Loud looked flat earlier.
Yeah, like we also have to take in consideration, like EDG has played a group stage. EDG has played an upper quarterfinal in the playoffs. So you have footage on Lotus. Like they haven't played Lotus just the first time. Like you know exactly what is going to happen. They're going to send Kankan in with his jet ult just to right click you across the map, and it just works for whatever reason. And you know exactly what they're going to approach. And they still got 13-6. And surprisingly, even like Aspas was on Neon, so there was clearly some sort of plan going on from the side of Loud, which just didn't work out at all. And then you go on to Fracture, where you have Aspas again on the Neon, and also there it felt like when they couldn't match the aggression and like the aim of EDG, there was like not much left in a tank at this series in particular. I don't know, it
Yeah.
felt like they got outclassed in a way.
What confuses me is how they can go from, playing NRG I know we're saying NRG haven't looked the best this tournament, but playing NRG in what was a competitive grand final, right?
Yes.
Both teams looked good in that grand final. They played Fracture. I don't remember if they played Lotus. I don't think they did. But they played Fracture, I know that. How can Loud go from winning that Fracture game, really competitive series, to looking like not being able to shut down, Kang? And I know Kang's incredible player, but this team is supposed to be the best from Americas.
Yeah.
And they looked more like the regular season version of themselves than the playoffs version of themselves in these two games that they played. I don't know, but maybe it is just the script. Maybe they're destined to win champs again this year.
Maybe they are, but what do you think? Like, maybe is this tournament maybe exposing for the big teams how harsh the schedule was and how difficult it was for those teams who have been playing like every match. Like, if you win like the region, like Loud did, you have to play every match every week. There's like almost no break, and there's no time to reinvent or like to really like up your game between winning Americas and going to Tokyo. There's like barely a week of break in between, so there's not much time to like reinvent something. So you just have to keep going with what you already are used to do. So maybe like this tournament is just exposing that the schedule specifically between the split conclusion and Tokyo was so tight that it was just not possible for those teams to like recover and like come up with new strats. And I feel like maybe it's like just too harsh of a schedule in a way, because I do think that both DRX and Loud would have looked better, and Navi as well. I would include them as well in this conversation with a little bit of a break in between, because those teams usually strive from preparation, which they clearly did not have.
Yeah, and even NRG maybe. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in the future of this tournament, but they haven't looked as good as usual, I'd probably say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And you think about Edward, they had a week more to prepare. Might not seem as significant, but it is fairly significant. They can bring in some new ideas, maybe more so than these other teams. The only problem is that EG had even less time to prepare because they were in the group stage, and their strats, their players look just incredible. We're going to talk about them in a second.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing is like, I agree that the schedule is very packed and also like really hard to recover. But then you have teams that are kind of defying that, and
that's true.
That is part of it at the end of the day. So, but yeah, I don't. It is quite packed, so I definitely agree with that. But yeah, Loud DRX looking flat, and they are out. Okay, let's move on to the teams still in it, and then we're going to do some predictions for the final games. First of all, we'll start from the top. We'll go down. Paper X. We talked about them a bit before. They managed to pull out the win without something, with a streamer on their team playing Gecko.
Yeah.
And they did it. Did you? No, I did actually manage to catch this game. I thought this was an early one, but it was a late one. This was kind of the Jing show, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He looked. He was in like Copenhagen level form in this match.
He diffed them single-handedly.
Yeah, and I think that is a testament to what DRX were looking like. But from this performance from Paper X, Bo, tell me, can Paper X at least make it competitive against Fnatic?
Yeah.
That started off as a yes, and it became a no.
I'm kind of like between. Well, yes, but actually no. Cigarettes, like he just looked meh during the match. It was more the other players really showing up. But I think
His Gecko Yuta was actually good on bind. I will give him that.
Yeah.
But the problem is always with Gecko, like you don't get that much like value out of it because then of course you need to go pick it up again. I don't think they are gonna perform well against Fnatic. I think that they might be able to win. Who are they playing after this? I believe is it
They
EDG or
will
NRG?
play EDG.
Okay, then they are instantly out. But
Somebody clip it.
yeah,
Somebody clip it.
yeah, I don't think they have a chance against Fnatic.
But isn't that interesting though? You asked that question, who are they playing next? And as soon as we said EDG, you said they were out, which implies that if they were playing NRG, they would have a chance.
I think they actually would have a chance against NRG because
But
they
isn't
look
that
shaky.
crazy? Is that not crazy thinking about where we were from lock-in?
Oh yeah, true.
Paper X and Edward Gaming, getting first rounded, and it's like.
I mean,
now we're here.
okay, listen, all right. They are EDG is doing the Zeta
No,
Division
I agree
run,
with you though.
like
I
back in
agree with you, though.
Reykjavik.
I do agree.
So
with you.
like they're gonna get third no matter what. If they don't, I am absolutely boomed.
I'm not gonna lie, EDG again second, but anyway, we're not. Let's
That's also
not.
possible. Doesn't fit the script though.
Doesn't fit the script. I think Paper X could take a map off Fnatic, but I don't know.
I mean, with something, I'm all in. But with cigarettes,
With
no.
something, then you can
It's
like
a gigabanger
you
at
got
that
my
point.
interest.
And then you
And
got a
it's
match.
like Paper X showed that they are competitive even without something, but being competitive is not enough to win against Fnatic right now, at least.
That's the real problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they just won without him? Just won the whole thing.
Oh man,
Didn't lose a map.
That's not gonna, like, honestly.
Every single analyst is gonna be a fraud after this. It's absolutely like I'm sure that like everybody's gonna drop all their coach and everything because like there's no need of that. You're just playing with luck. That is all.
You're playing with Jing. You have a Jing on your team, so.
I mean, yeah, I never count the team out. Like, they have the firepower and everything, but then Fnatic has so much experience on their belt now, and they are like on the redemption arc after losing the EMEA split, and I do feel like they looked very like good against Energy and like just comfortable. Even like they didn't play a group stage; it was their first match in this LAN, and they just looked good. They just looked comfortable. I don't know, like with a stand-in or like substitute player right now, Paper X, I see little chances. Maybe they can take a map, yeah, maybe that, but then you play. I don't know how the map pool is gonna match up against those teams, but I think Fnatic is favored on most of the maps.
Yeah. Fnatic is the only team ever, I think, in Valorant where I have watched a team play and thought, yeah, they could like start an era. Like they're that good to the point where they could just beat everybody for a whole year. Maybe maybe Gambit.
I mean like the Fnatic. Like the lock-in and also during the regular stage, that was when I thought like there's gonna be a dynasty here.
Well, that's what I mean. Like just throughout all of this year, maybe apart from when they were 11-3 down to Loud, but the fact that they came back from that is just ridiculous. But yeah, I think they are expected to win this game. Would you say they're expected to win the event at this point?
I think they are the most likely one. Like if you go into this, like if you see all the teams who made it to Tokyo on day one, you would say Fnatic is the favorite to win it. I'm not saying they're like winning it 100%, but like just from the odds, they have the highest percentage of winning it just by what they have showcased so far. Even with quote unquote hiding strats or whatever they did, they made second in the EMEA split. And I don't know, this team just looks fucking good and they have the talent. And even if there like are no strats, they just have 5 players who can just one tap you anytime. I don't know. It's just a great team. Gotta respect it. And like even with something, I think there would be a competitive series, and I would favor Fnatic. Like even with something.
Yeah, no, that's true. Actually, I'd still, it would be, I think, a more competitive game, but I'd still favor Fnatic, which says a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when somebody works for Liquid is saying that Fnatic are like insane, then they have to be, right?
They are insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of,
so do we. Look.
Yeah, the only team to have beaten Fnatic this year
that is true.
is Liquid.
Yeah.
They qualified. Well, they made it to the playoffs by winning EMEA, and they beat Edward Gaming in an extremely close series. I was kind of rooting for Edward, but
I too was rooting for Edward.
Also wanted to see Liquid win, of course, my boy Bangovic. And Edward's
I am
got a little bit
hate
back around.
watching Team Liquid only
Why?
because of Bankovic.
Oh, what
People
the
I don't know.
fuck?
I
There
don't
does
know.
seem to be like an agenda against Team Liquid from a
Yeah.
lot of people. I don't really
There
understand
is.
it. It just seems to be. I don't know why. I just feel like I don't know. But
Honestly,
I
like
like him.
it's crazy to see that like people are like still like really there's like some sort of an agenda against us. Because
I think most people still aren't over the
Lock-in.
lock-in performance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm
the
pretty
thing
sure
is,
that's
okay, I
the
understand that we
Why
didn't
though?
look good at lock-in, but can people just start appreciating the progression, like the progress this team has made?
Oh yeah,
If
definitely.
if it would have been
I think it's just the problem that like there still hasn't been that much time since it happened, and I'll be honest, like when I saw it happen, I've never felt this way before. I was like,
me neither.
what happened here?
Yeah.
And I think some people are still thinking, okay, let's not hope let's not make sure that Liquid like gets too much on their ego. Let's just keep them
Okay, maybe that's
keep them calm.
true. But on the other hand, like look, we looked horrendous at lock-in and we made so much progress. Now we look like a good team. We beat Fnatic in the final. We won like the EMEA trophy. We have beaten
Bangovic.
EDG. Yeah.
I think the problem is most people don't usually just like watch every single Team Liquid game, so they don't really
I mean,
see
but if
like
you
the
have seen how we,
development of the
you have
team.
seen, you just have to do, you have to watch two games.
We-
You have to watch
we-
two games. You have to watch the game we lost against Secret, and you have to watch the games we won against Fnatic. It's two matches, and if you have seen those, you can see like
Agreed.
day and night difference, and just appreciate the fact that this team has made this progress. And if it would have been so easy, why isn't Koi here? Why isn't Giants here? Like all those teams.
I
who
mean,
look
there's a
promising
good
at-
reason why Koi isn't there.
No, they look all promising at lock-in, but where are they now? They look exactly like the same or even worse. So what I want to say is this team has made progression. I don't understand why people still hate on them for whatever reason. I'm not saying we're the greatest team in the world yet, but we won against
quote.
Bankovic. I think you just have too many Soulcast hating recommendations on Twitter.
That is also true. But
No,
no, honestly, like go
I
on
don't
Reddit,
think-
like it's crazy, or VLR.
I don't think it's lock-in at all. Because I've been
I
seeing
think- yeah,
I've been
I
seeing
think-
Liquid hate for years.
Yeah, that's true.
Since
Yeah.
like the first
That's
event.
true.
Like it's just they just seem
I
to
mean,
be
it's also
the
just the
team
fact.
to hate. I don't know why.
I think it's also the fact that like every single international event, Liquid has found a way to trip them
That's
their
true.
way into it. I think people are just kind of like they just cannot trust Team Liquid right
This
now.
is the first
It's
time.
a trust issue.
Yeah,
it's a trust issue.
Hey,
Okay.
it's the first time we made it to champions without going through LCQ and winning it. That's actually crazy.
That is crazy.
That is
crazy
crazy.
stat.
We made every
so
chance, but made it
Oh,
twice
no.
through LCQ. No, it's actually true.
But I feel like this is the chance for Liquid to redefine themselves as a team.
Yeah.
I don't know, like back in the day, I always found myself rooting for the non-Liquid team. Because whether it was Gambit, whether it was Fnatic, whether it was whoever it was, right?
Mm.
But now, like, I'm starting, as like you said, you see that improvement. You start to see these players like Nats and Redgar, who you saw before popping off. You know, they're coming back alive. Safe. I'm sorry, this man is insane.
Yeah.
This guy is. I'd already put him up there with the Durka and Aspas and Kang. I guess he's in the conversation now.
Yes.
But Safe, honestly, this guy is crazy. I really highly rate Liquid, and I've been enjoying watching their games. And I will be rooting for them against Evil Geniuses.
That's sick. To go back to that match, I gotta say it's crazy that like Kankan and Save is only like divided by like one ACS. Those two guys, like it was like the anime jet race battle. They were like, boy, that was a crazy battle, man. Kankan on Lotus with the right clicks on the jet knives. I don't know what it was. The kills he got, I think. Wait, let me open up the Lotus stats. He was 12-1 first kill to first death. I have never seen such statistics. How can you have plus 11 first kills first death on one map, which wasn't overtime? Like, this is crazy. This is just gross. Like,
Ridiculous, man.
That is
insane.
insane.
Yeah,
I love Kankan, honestly.
he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT. But Safe is also incredible.
That's true.
And I think there are some rounds where he will just win it. For Liquid, it's not like the thing where it's like he'll win it by like clutching a round out, or like, you know, he'll just get like 2 kills at the start of the round, and you're like, well, where have they come from? And you know, he'll just have got 2 taps with a Vandal somewhere. So
Oh, you just get
huge
those like
respect to Liquid.
crazy openings. Like I remember when we were watching the game together, and like on Haven when he was jumping on Haven on this box, like there was I think it was How Dong waiting in the smoke, and he just flicks up and gives a headshot on him in the first round on Haven. And like I don't know, it's like unreal reactions. But same goes with Kankan. Like those two players had a game, a series. It was a really good game, I feel like, and it all came down to this 1v1 situation between Chichu and was it Chichu? I'm not sure actually, but I think it was Chichu versus Soulcast, and then Liquid eventually came up on top and won that match, sent EG to the lower brackets where they then beat Loud. As just ridiculous. But yeah, next up is like T Liquid gonna face EG, who looks like just from a forms perspective, like the best team in the world, just from sheer form.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe you'd put Fnatic into that conversation.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Honestly, EG
they look
look like they
cleaner
can't lose.
than they genuinely look cleaner than like Zeta Division during Grey Quick. It's honestly just like they are just farming, dude. They are farming.
Yeah,
Are you talking about EDG or EG?
Yeah, EDG.
Oh, EDG. Okay,
because we're talking about
yeah.
EG.
Yeah,
we're
EG.
going of EG. Yeah.
EG is also kind of farming, so
Not just
Kind
kinda,
of.
man.
Bro,
Kinda.
they're
13-7, 13-5 against Loud, world champions, lock-in finalists. They got dismantled. That is,
Yeah.
that was not on my list. Like, I did not see that one coming.
and we knew that they were good, but like in America's playoffs, it made sense. It was like, oh, they've made a surprise run to Tokyo. Okay, they
Yes.
lost to Loud and they lost to NRG. Like
Oh, man.
that makes sense,
yeah.
Everybody can go home happy. Loud and NRG have made it. EG might do something at Tokyo. Let's find out. And now they're here, and it's like, okay, let's just beat Foot. Okay, makes sense. Let's beat DRX, like, and then they're just beating Loud easily. By the way, that
It's
is
like,
what is so impressive.
There's
It's
a
not like
way that EG might be the highest placed Americas team in this tournament. It could
easily.
yeah, like what? How?
They don't even have to win another game, do
True.
they? No, they do have to win another game, but they would still be tied if NRG lose their next one. Or it,
I mean,
it might be
NRG
EG
lost.
versus NRG, won't
Oh,
it?
it could be
If
EG versus Energy. Yes, yes.
which will be interesting. But I would favor EG. And I didn't think I'd be saying that a few months ago at all.
Yeah.
When they were bottom of the Americas League after
Yes.
like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
And you think there's just no hope. And then, I mean, even the fact like the turnaround from going 4-5 in the regular season, getting into playoffs just from that 100 Thieves MIBR game, the
Yes.
turnaround from that moment to their performance in playoffs is crazy.
Yes.
It's just incredible, and it's the way they've done it. They're not squeaking out wins. It's
Nope.
not like EDG, of course, I love EDG, and the fact that they've made some of these games really close is what's so impressive, like the Na'Vi game. With EG, there's none of that. They just have steamrolled everybody. And yeah, I was talking about it the other day on my Twitter, but I've been underestimating this team every step of the way. I think
Yeah, me
everybody
too.
has, and I don't know how far they can go. I really don't.
Yeah, me neither. They're just impressive. I have honestly, like, this is gonna be crazy tomorrow. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna be watching it. That's gonna be
4 a.m. Let's go.
That's gonna be a crazy
Let's
match.
go, Liquid.
Oh man, I'm gonna be sweating. I'm gonna be sweating. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the final two teams still in the tournament. And the first is NRG. We've mentioned them a few times now and looking maybe not as good as we thought they would.
Shaky. I think that's the best way to say it.
They just haven't been...
They are map dependent.
I don't want to say they haven't been Optic, because of course they haven't been Optic.
Nobody
have not...
can be like Optic.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is I really rate
NRG is
Sol.
like a
I really
ship.
rate Crashies.
It
Yeah.
sails.
NRG is like a ship. It sails. What even is that?
Yeah, what is
Think
that?
about the waves. It shakes the boat.
They lost to Fnatic and they beat DRX. I mean, it all makes sense when you say it like that. But it's the way that they narrowly beat T1 and got obliterated by Fnatic. Bind is supposed to be the map
Then
that they're
again,
like the best
guys,
team in the world on.
remember, this is Fnatic we're talking about.
I know, but it's like
No, but yeah, getting
Liquid didn't lose
steamrolled.
13-4 to Fnatic.
Yeah.
They beat them. Like, this is not,
Mm.
you know.
And Fnatic
I know
has
Fnatic are
dropped.
good.
Yeah, Fnatic has dropped maps, especially like they have dropped the map Bind against Foot, for example.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have played close series against Liquid on Bind, and then they like 13. Like, what was the halftime score of Bind? Let me see. It was
10-2.
literally like 10-2.
I mean, it was 2-2, and then they just won 9 rounds in a row. If you count the next pistol, it's like that's ridiculous. This is FNS, right? This is the guy that people say is the best. Some people say is the best IGL in the world,
Yeah.
and he's amazing at adapting mid-game. But there was
the-
just none of that. There was
Look at
none
the
of that.
ratings. The overall ratings, like none of the players, even like just some came close to a 1 point rating. The rest was like 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.5. Everyone has like a horrendous game. Like it's crazy. On the other hand, all of the players look way better against DRX, but then still, for me, the takeaway so far is that once they play maps where artists can play Jet, they look good. Once artist has to go like on the Sage and on other agents, he looks not bad, but it doesn't look good enough to beat the top teams in this tournament.
He doesn't look like the Masters winning player he was in the
Yes.
middle of last year, which is what they signed him for as a replacement for Ye. I mean, you look at this the Fracture game that they played against Fnatic. It was 13-9. You think, oh, all right, close map. But without some of these like hero rounds by Som, who was the only player, positive or with any like kind of positive rating or anything by far, this is another 13-4 or like 13-5, and it's not, it's not close.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see what they, how they play in their next game. But I'm not favoring them against Liquid or EG, no matter what happens in that match. Like, even if one of them gets absolutely steamrolled, I'm still not favoring NRG in that match. I'm sure they'll prove me wrong, as they always do. Did, I should say. But I don't know. This could be the start of NRG not making top 4 of every tournament.
Oh, right.
Well, no, actually lock-in. They didn't make top 4 in lock-in, but
Yeah, true. But okay, that doesn't count too much, but still, they have a really like tough like it doesn't even matter who make it go to the lower bracket. They have to go through either EG or Liquid, and then through EDG or Paper X. And at this point, maybe something's bad, like at the tournament. Who knows? So won't get easier from here. It's only getting more difficult and difficult from time to time. But yeah. On the other hand, and also EDG has what Bo is like preaching. They're just gonna do the Zeta division third place miracle run. At least.
Let's talk about it.
Gotta be crazy.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
This
EDG
is
good.
This is the story of the Masters so far. In my opinion, I don't think there's any other team that's as remotely as interesting. Not to say that the tournament hasn't been great overall, but this team, the story is just great. I'm sure everybody knows this who's watching, but Edward Gaming, they lose their first match narrowly to T1, overtime on Pearl, as it always was for them. Like 100 Thieves at lock-in, and last year as well. But then Na'Vi, they beat them 2-0 in 2 close overtime games. They then go beat T1 in a rematch that they blew them out of the water.
Yes.
T1 got 10 rounds across both maps, which is crazy. And the confidence from Kang especially is immeasurable. It's insane. He's such a charismatic player to watch. I mean, some of the highlight clips of him like looking over, doing this to T1 and doing like the operator thing, just he's so fun to watch. You see Bangovic smiling there while we're talking about it, but he's great.
Man, it's just crazy. Like his reaction, he's giving it to the opponents, but always in a respectful manner. Like he's not disrespecting, and that's what I love. Like he's giving it to the opponent. He's like showcasing. Like if I do something good, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it that I did something great. He's like he has the emotions, but he has also the skills. Like he's like this NBA superstar. I don't know. Like it's just so fun to see him watch, and then he's like just like doing those plays, like what he did against Liquid, like this on Lotus. Those like just dashing onto someone reloading with the jet, right click, run away, like he's just drive-bying every player like in this tournament. And like he did it against Aspas, he did it against Safe, he did it against all the teams they face. Like this guy is just fearless and probably the best attacking AWP player I've ever seen. Like this is ridiculous how he's taking spaces and entries with an operator and doesn't miss. I don't know. This guy he's the truth.
He's the truth.
He is. He is him.
If
You're
we
right.
all thought that like Demon 1 was
Yeah.
going to be like the next yay, I'm pretty sure Kang might be taking that, trying to get that trophy.
I don't think they need to necessarily compete,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's a good comparison, to be honest.
yeah,
You
I
could try.
think so.
Same thing
also-
with like Aspas, but
but also
Aspas is like
that
is in his own area.
It's different though because Kang is and Edward Gaming. It's not just. Let's just put that out there. It's not
Yeah.
just Kang.
That
Some of
is
the
true.
plays from the other individuals.
Smoggy is also really good.
But
Yeah,
not just Smoggy.
some of his
Yeah.
some of his one taps with the Prime Vandal.
Ooh.
They're so good.
Smoggy go brr.
Entire
Yeah.
roster is good.
They're all incredible individuals, but they're putting this region on their back. EG are making what I would say like a Cinderella run, right? They're all in form. They've got great vibes in the team. They've got great strats, but
I mean, something that you could look at is, for example, on Weibo, where the Valorant esports account has more followers than Valorant itself in China.
which makes sense considering Valorant hasn't actually released there yet officially.
Yeah.
No,
And-
but it did not have that many followers before.
Well, yeah,
Tournament.
of course.
Yeah.
I saw something that on
And on
Kankan
Weibo also,
crying-
like
Kankan
there has
crying was
been-
like top 10 trending on
Yeah.
on Weibo across all of China, and in Bilibili Gaming, the number one top search was EDG vs Loud.
yeah,
So it's not only like, oh, what great thing for China. This is great for Valorant.
Yes,
this is
it is.
amazing for the scene. And it's the same with Zeta. Zeta's run is the reason we have a Masters Tokyo. It's the reason that exists. You think about Crew as well, Latin America, the hype there as well.
Yeah.
These runs, I think that's what's so interesting about Valorant, at least so far, is there is no one dominant region. There's no one dominant team, at least yet,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it makes room for these amazing runs that bring regions, into relevancy in competitive Valorant. It's really exciting.
I'd also say this, like, if you think that Kang or anyone from EDG is going to another region, oh boy, you're not ready to hear what they are getting in salaries. That's let's just keep it at that. Like, China hasn't already is always insane when it comes to salaries. So there was a time where you could have maybe seen an EDG player playing for another team, but those are over now that Valorant is like coming into China. These, like, especially EDG, they have like they're working on a massive like esports arena with headquarters and everything in Shanghai. It's like these are, if you think like the
Time
NA
to learn
organizations
Chinese.
if you think the North American organizations are big, just wait till you see what
Yeah.
like the Chinese organizations are willing to invest. Like esports in China, that's where the big money comes.
Ni hao, Rendezvous viewers. No, I'm joking.
It's so true. No,
Oh.
also like the funniest thing for me was like this meme from like time to learn Chinese. Everyone is like, it's over. That's not like this is not it anymore. We gotta learn
no
English.
longer
Like
a
we
meme.
would get benched in China. We have no chance. They're like they're just too
Every
good.
single esports player is going to have like a course in Chinese every single time.
Or the
Yeah, it
one
was
100
like,
thieves, the 100 thieves
Yeah,
tweet.
100
Oh,
Thieves, like
Yeah.
if you sent them to China now, like they're getting grouped in like the
grouped.
FGC invitation or something.
Oh man.
Cryo, like
Probably.
who's that? Like I only know Kang.
Oh.
But yeah, every player on this team deserves recognition. Haodong's IGLing, I think, is something that is like something that's been really good over the course of the tournament. They've not just relied on aim duels. This is a team with like strong game plans. They've shown that their Haven game plan with the Chi-Chu lurk on the Cypher, like the fact that this team's like Liquid, where Nats has said Cypher's not good on Haven, and then EDG just come in and just play it anyway and look great.
Yeah.
That's Nats. That's Mr. Cypher.
Well, it's also
really
great. Like
inspirational to watch.
it was. I just saw that today. Like Chi-Chu said, like he wanted to play Liquid because Nats is like idle, and then they lost against Liquid and played Loud. And then like I think it was Kankan who said like Aspas is like his demon. He has had like nightmares since they scrimmed them. So like they're like kind of on like this run
So
of like
Team
just
Liquid
playing.
better not lose.
Yeah,
or else they're
Brandon,
coming
no.
after them.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh boy.
hopefully no. Hopefully we're gonna see again in the grand final. Hopefully, I would be down for that. But what I want to
EMEA
say
versus
is like
EMEA
EMEA.
grand final.
it's gonna be it's
I'm just
just
saying.
so great to see like that EDG is like a team. Of course, they are here to like win and they go as far as possible, but they also want to like face their idols. They're not afraid of facing their like the players they looked up to, and this is like something so great. Like I love everything about this team. I don't know, I have nothing bad to say about them. They're just great.
That's so true. You forget that.
Yeah.
And Kang, I hope they do play Fnatic at some point. It would obviously be a crazy storyline from here. But Kang's main inspiration was Durka. I mean, his tag in ranked was Fnatic Durka. Like,
What? That's sick.
like that. Like, you're right. I didn't even think about that. They're facing these players they've looked up to.
Yeah.
That is, I think that's the magic of
Yeah.
this run and that Valorant is creating at the moment, which is something really special. That we're not seeing in many esports right now, and that's what the global nature of it brings, which I think is super important. So, I think that is everything in terms of all the teams that are still left. Now it's time for the match predictions.
Only 2 matches, right, to predict in a way.
Yeah, I mean, like we already spoke about Fnatic and Paper X.
Yeah, that thing is kind. I mean, we lock in Fnatic.
So,
I think there's no
Fnatic, easy.
Okay, Liquid EG. I mean, I'm gonna go with Liquid because I'm a biased fuck, but you can do whatever.
I also want to go with EG.
To go with EG. I said Liquid.
Sorry. Wait, my brain is.
Wait, you go with Liquid or you go with EG?
I'm going with Liquid.
Oh, come on, it's easy for you. You can even go with EG. No one will hate you.
I was gonna pick Liquid anyway, but
no, don't jinx it. Don't do it. No.
Okay, no, I'll go EG.
Oh, thank you.
EMEA frauds.
Thank God.
Oh my God.
Everybody on Twitter thinks I'm from America anyway. So people just say like, oh, these biased NA analysts, huh? And like, I had someone say I was from India the other day. So
what the hell? What is going on?
Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, you're the new Akis. Akis. Oh, great.
But I think if Liquid have a good day, they can do it. But if they have anything less than that, then I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't know. This matchup is so hard to predict. Like, all honesty, if I put my bias aside, it feels so hard to predict because EG just looks unstoppable, and it's just whether or not like I think it's like a game plan. If like Redka or Emil comes up with a game plan, or Safe can find the solutions in the moment, it's gonna be hard. And EG is just riding off a crazy momentum. They just tear down loud, like they are not afraid of anyone right now. So yeah, that's gonna be a banger match tomorrow in the morning. I think that's gonna be a great one. And Fnatic against Paper X most likely will be one-sided affair. Shall we go on to the lower? I mean, it doesn't really make sense, right? To predict anything in the lower rounds because we don't know who is gonna get dropped.
If we're assuming like the teams that we've predicted to lose will go down, then I would go EG to beat NRG, Edward to beat Paper X.
Yes.
In that scenario, and then it's EG versus Edward, and Fnatic versus it's Fnatic Liquid and EDG versus EG. Yeah. And in that case, I don't actually know what I would pick.
I just want this to happen, to have the Kankan versus Demon 1 Jet battle. I want to see it. Oh my God, this tournament is like, it looks great. So that could be so good. I mean, we could also see it in a grand final, right? So there's still hope.
I'm out of personal bias. I'm going for a close Edward Gaming win in the lower round 3, and then I think it's a Fnatic Edward grand final. I'm going with that.
If something returns,
I'd love to see it.
Paper X win it all. But till then, we can still doubt.
Yeah, I think something
is like just gonna win it all if he comes back.
I don't think so.
He's great. He is great, but like, I don't know. I just feel like every time we've seen a player switch out at this tournament and like at international tournaments before, I just don't think it's worked. Other than Sugetsu, I'll give him that.
Yeah. I don't know,
it
and
could work.
also I think the likelihood is very low considering like this is like we're talking about like everything we see here on this bracket is happening next week from Monday to Sunday. Then the thing is over. It's like one more week for him to get the passport. And honestly, I don't know if that's even technically possible. I don't know how the process is going on for him. He must fly out to Tokyo as well. And I don't know if there's big of a jet lag involved if you go from Singapore to Tokyo. Probably not. I don't know. But still, like there's so many factors, question marks around it. He won't be around for Fnatic because they play tomorrow. And we would have known already, I guess. And then he might only be here for EDG. And then just get swapped in with 1 day of practice to play against EDG, who is just looking like they look. I don't know. It's going to be difficult.
It will be tough.
But I would love to see something against Kankan as well. I want to see Kankan face off against all the top jets in the world just for the sake of it.
Well, we've seen he's taken down Aspas already, so
that's crazy. And also he can play Race, just by the way. Like it sounds like Kankan is like this one-dimensional player, but he plays Gecko on Bind and he plays Race on other. This guy's just crazy. I love it.
Oh man, I love it.
All right,
I think that's it.
I think that's about it for playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's about it for Masters Tokyo in general. I think this episode of the podcast will release after those two upper games happen tomorrow.
Oh yeah, true.
So we'll see if we were right.
All good.
We'll see if we were right. But if not,
I'll call it right now. I am getting an A+. If I don't, I'm boomed.
Why would you jinx yourself ahead of a sub, bro? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Really, like that is so stupid. Man. Oh my god. A+, he's like just aiming for
here's the thing. My exam is in German, so
I'm telling you, not getting A+.
I'm not going to get an A+. Definitely not.
Why you say it then? Like what is going on?
That's why I'm saying it.
I'm sorry.
You say like
A+ before.
You have to say like, oh, I'm gonna get like a B, and then you will like jinx yourself into like doing better. Surely?
Yeah.
No, I just have to think to myself like, okay, I'm actually going to do something good here, and then I'll get what I actually deserve.
That is such a weird way of thinking, man. Go ahead.
All right.
My fingers are crossed for you tomorrow. You got this, bro.
Anyway, so my favorite part, Ascension. Wow.
Yay.
All the teams have been confirmed.
Actually excited about this. Yeah, all the teams have been confirmed. The locations have been confirmed. Everything's going ahead. Teams are flying out left and right.
And the first one is going to be EMEA, which starts with the play-ins. And let's just keep it as simple as possible. Group B, group of death. This is gonna be the most unfair one because all of those three teams are actually extremely good.
Yeah.
But who do you guys think are going to win play-ins? It's it's a bit of a debate.
I think Enterprise are kind of boomed now that they don't have
Yeah, but I believe they had something prepared for that. Because he has always just been a stand-in. He's never been like an official player.
Yeah, but
really,
yeah.
Honestly, you know what
I
I
would
love to see?
Stand-in, so.
I don't know how you say the name. I would love to see Team Raad.
Team Rad, yeah.
I would love to see them do well. Either them or Falcons. I feel like they're the only only major region that we don't have a rep from in franchising. That kind of North Africa area, Middle East. So why not?
I have an eye on S2G. I think what I've seen from them, Turkish scene, like another great team with talent. Pora is also bringing in the experience, and
plus they won the first split.
Yeah, exactly. So I rate them pretty highly, and I do see them a little bit favored there, but also like GT said, like the Portugal League, they had like two very strong teams. So wouldn't count them out. Honestly, Mouse is for me the least favorite one, but then I don't know, maybe they pull it through out of nowhere. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, out of play-ins, I am going between Focus and S2G. Those are the ones that I
I
can
think those are the
see.
clear favorites.
But
I agree.
also, one of the more sleeper ones are Mandatory. Mandatory is also really good. They are the second most consistent French team.
This guy Hip is
And
he's around for ages in Valorant. Like he has been grinding
yeah,
since the
he used to
beta.
be like an Overwatch player,
Yeah.
and I never expected him to still keep grinding the game.
I don't want to bring this up, but every time I see
now, but-
him, I think about the clip with the Fran. But whatever.
Oh no!
I don't want to bring that up. Let's not go into details.
Okay, yeah, let's keep that one down in the shallow ground. Oh boy, not that. Oh, but yeah, I think for me
Yeah.
it has to be. I'm favoring Focus just
Yeah, I agree.
because Polaris.
Also a great
but
team,
I've
honestly.
yeah, they've been shaky at times. But they've got some good firepower. So and otherwise, I also think GMT might actually be a low key. They won't go far, like as in far, but they definitely could do some damage and maybe
think-
ruin some preds.
I think that's the only thing is like, even if you win this tournament, you still have to beat all the best teams.
Yeah,
That
from
is
all
the
the
thing,
other leagues.
right?
So it's like
that is
the
the
chance
biggest.
of actually qualifying from play-ins is very low, but
Yeah.
it would be cool to see if that did happen.
But yeah,
If
I'd
terms of the
say
main
Focus for me.
tournament, in terms of the main tournament, these are the teams that qualified
Yeah,
directly, first place in all of their international leagues, and holy balls, man, Group B is stacked.
I'm just like,
Yes.
oh man, this is just unfair.
Okay,
Two are
let's
making it out. Oh my god.
say Focus. Let's just assume
Yeah.
Focus make it through and get put into Group B. Who makes it out of that group?
They're playing as Apex again. Oh no!
I mean, Apex gotta make it out.
Oh.
Apex has to make it out, and then
I will absolutely have so much fun when it's Apex and Focus that like go into playoffs from
you
Group
think
B.
so? I think Gentlemates looks good, right?
Gentlemates looks good, but there's also the whole problem with Takas, who is kind of like on and off due to his wrist injury.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
And like the French teams haven't performed the best during international play. Let's keep that in mind. They might have the clout, but for the most part, we haven't seen that much of the talent.
How much of this will be on LAN?
Only playoffs will be LAN.
Okay.
So only 4 teams get to play on LAN.
Yeah.
Single elim.
EMEA in
well.
shambles.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, but yeah, hard to make a prediction. But I honestly think that's gonna be great games to watch. Like honestly, like that's the best of all the regional leagues. It's gonna be a great match, like great tournament. And I honestly hope Apex gonna make it. Honestly, this team looked so good. The players deserve it. Mini Fnatic versus real Fnatic next year in franchising. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think the best case scenario in terms of the best case scenario of teams to make it would be Apex, Gentlemates, Falcons, or Ascend probably. I think they've got the
Kase
most...
should also not be slept on.
Yeah, true, but not in terms
They've
of
got
favorites. I
Mini
mean,
Boo.
like
They've got Mini Boo. Think about that.
in terms of like the best for the league.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's
that
probably
makes sense.
Gentlemates actually. Considering.
Yeah.
But we do already have KC, so yeah.
They're definitely a better version of Carmen Corp. I'll be honest.
All right.
And
EMEA.
what about Group A?
Good job, EMEA.
Wait.
Group A?
What about Group A? We have to talk about Group A.
Ascend and Sword. Yeah.
Yeah, sentence saw. I mean, obviously, Turkish teams always like dangerous.
CGN, I'd honestly wager more.
Really?
They've got Element. Element looks
Yeah.
really good.
He looked good. It's a good pickup.
Mm.
I mean, it's
But
hard
also
to say.
Digital Athletics, like
Yeah.
they picked up like the old Fireflux, or no, like the players who weren't picked up from like what is the org called that they merged with? I forgot the name of the org. What?
I
Parla. There we go. Parla.
Parla,
Yeah. Okay.
Parla, yeah.
They picked up the 2 players who weren't picked up by Fireflux from Parla, and they went on a revenge spree.
That's crazy.
Deepmans is also like he was like the actual like former prodigy. He was supposed to be like the next CNET last year, so he also has a bit of a redemption arc going on here. So I'll be honest, this is also a little bit. It's between CGN, Digital, and Ascend for me.
Fair enough.
Well, that makes it good groups, right? Both groups are very competitive, and like you have so many promising teams. Like that's great.
Yeah, I don't understand why you add like a Desire and Saw at the same place, because like both are from the region that is quote unquote the worst too.
And it's probably random, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So, all right.
don't know?
I think
Yeah, we'll see.
which is the next one that takes place?
I believe it's Pacific. Yeah, Pacific.
All right, Pacific Ascension.
Wow, there we are.
Okay,
I know exactly who's gonna make it through.
I've got a take, and people are not going to like it. I think Bonkers are going through group stages.
Okay, so you think Bonkers are going through? Who's not going through?
Orangutan and Scars.
Scars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scars
Okay.
Scars hasn't been consistent. That's my problem. I've
Yeah.
been like watching their VODs, they've been just inconsistent at most. And that's why I'm kind of feeling like, will they perform well enough on Ascension, or was this just like a just miracle run? Because like the roster looks insanely good. That's not my problem. It's just more about like, will they be able to keep up the same performance as they did? Because like Jadeite almost also beat them. So
Yeah, I think Jadeite were the favorites from Japan actually, but
yeah,
Scars managed to win that final series to make it through. There is a lot of teams that seem to have like not necessarily been the favorites, but they've won that that final series that has got them
yeah,
through. You think about Digital Athletics and stuff, and S2G from Turkey, but yeah, I think I agree with you. I like Bonkers as a team. They've had their fundraising efforts, of course, that have been
yeah.
going around Twitter recently.
Also, it would help the scene a lot.
Yeah,
I could
would.
low-key
that's
see
true.
some orcs getting in if they like actually do pretty well.
Yeah,
That's
I would
And
absolutely love for them to be in be a team in franchising, finally have an OCE team in
yeah,
franchising. They're the only free agent team in this tournament as well.
yeah.
So it'd be a
they
great
definitely need the
storyline
support.
in that aspect. So I would love to see it. In Group A, we're looking at Boom, who obviously were at champions. We got Xerxia, another org.
Sergio is a big
all the way
surprise.
back in.
Myth absolutely choke, bro.
Oh
Myth
yeah,
looks
everybody
so
said
good.
that they were like
Yeah,
the
they
goats, and
look
then they just flopped.
absolutely insane, and then it's just like playoffs. Get out of here. They ruined my entire day when I saw that. I'll be honest. But for me, I'd say this one is a bit more competitive. But just in terms of like the teams in here, actually, Omega Group is kind of unfair now that I think about it. Bleed, D plus, and Scars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of
That's kind of strong.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I know we've got some Indian fans watching the podcast. Do Orangutan have a chance to make it out of this group?
I mean, they look good in their regional league. But then I just think back to like back when Global was like the best team in South Asia. But I'm just kind of like, it might just be a repeat of that. Or it could be a new sign of like talent getting better. They have, of course, like probably the best Filipino player ever, Tesseract. So they definitely have a chance. But with the track record that we've seen with South Asian talent, I see that as unlikely. They may do some damage here and there, but not win it. And
I mean, if you look at this, all like the clear favorite for all of this is like for me Bleed still, right? Bleed probably is like
definitely
the best team out of all of those. They're the team to beat, I guess.
I'd throw D plus in there as well.
Yeah.
They've got some names. Obviously Lakia, Esperanza,
True.
XE. A lot of people rating very highly on the Smokes role. So
And a lot of
people saying he should be in
experience.
franchising. So yeah,
That's true.
so I'd put them up there as well. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I would
for
love
Group
to see
Alpha,
Fantasy United do something as well. Just the Vietnamese
yeah,
scene.
I mean, I haven't
would be
seen
cool.
much from like the Vietnam scene. People have
Yeah,
basically
me
just
neither.
told me to not watch it. It's been chaotic to say the least.
I just love the player called Yes I Can. I just love that gamer tag. What a gamer tag.
Oh, that's
Aw.
actually good. But yeah, I'd say for Group Alpha, I'd go with Xerxia, Naus, and Boom.
But
That makes sense.
I haven't watched games of those. Maybe 1 or 2 of Boom, but I can't like make a guess.
Boom is pretty good. They're pretty
Yeah.
good. They I'd favor them in the
Although
group
they did
stages.
nearly lose to the judge-only Raze player.
I mean, then again, like I've heard in scrims that guy is a menace too. So like
really?
everybody is fearful of like
Ray 4C.
yeah, Ray 4C. If you
All
say
right.
his name, everybody's gonna fucking shit their pants.
All right, let's move on to the final Ascension tournament held in Sao Paulo, and the smallest one as well.
Yes,
Only 6 teams. Americas.
the Sleep Americas.
Okay.
Sleepers.
I actually
The
think this is the most
Veg
interesting
Americas.
Ascension
It's just
tournament.
it's only
but
because they
anyway.
have a bunch of orgs. That's why it is.
What?
Definitely.
Jealousy.
Yeah. I mean, genuinely jealousy right here.
I think first of all, let's state the obvious: the NA teams are the favorites coming in. I feel like.
Yeah, and I
I feel like
actually might add something. I hope the Union don't win.
Okay.
That
there's
is,
been some drama with their players, hasn't there?
yeah. There are 2 players specifically who I wish don't make it into, don't win Ascension at all. They have done some stuff that is completely unacceptable.
All right.
And have never apologized for that. So
Oh, sad.
that's
I've heard
I'm
things. I'm not super familiar, so. But
yeah,
I know
it's not a good situation. That's just why I feel like the other players that are on that roster are still really good. I know like Havoc. I'm pretty sure everybody wants Havoc right now. He's like the top player everybody wants in America's like a top talent. I believe one org is close to having it to acquiring him. So we'll see how that goes.
Well,
yeah.
that could be MIBR, huh?
Hmm.
would make sense. Brazilian speaking, duelist player. Heat is out.
I wouldn't be so sure
be.
about that, but we'll see.
Whoa.
Could be.
100 Thieves have
Leak. No.
100
Okay.
thieves. Get ready to learn Brazilian, buddy. No, Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Shit.
Oh
It's getting
no.
late. It's getting late. We almost
It
through.
is getting late.
Yeah.
So we've agreed that the Guard are winning Ascension.
Here's
No,
the
I'm
thing,
kidding.
like, what will happen if the Guard wins?
They're gonna sell
I'll
the
be
org to
honest,
command.
What do you
I
mean?
can low key see like the organization itself, like maybe sticking, because like 4 years of free money.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's not bad.
Wait, 4, isn't it 2?
Out.
Yeah, I think it is 2. I'm
I
pretty sure
think
it's 2
it's
years.
not 4. It's not 4. Definitely not 4.
I think MAT obviously looked great in NA, and they're a great team as well. Got some really likable players. The Guard, obviously, I'm very much supporting them. Again, a really, really likable team. And I want to see them face off at this tournament, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the dilemma of the Guard. What will happen if they actually win?
I think they'll just stay.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense. I hope they do.
But when you look at it, like the Guard, like their other franchise teams, they are all getting dropped.
Yeah, but what would be the point of playing a whole season in the Challengers League with no like financial necessarily benefits to that, obviously, other than prize money, and then to qualify the thing
I
you've
think
been
it's
working
more
towards
about
the
the
whole
whole
year and then just
PR
dropping it.
disaster. I think that it's more about the whole PR disaster that happened for Kronk when they announced this stuff, and like keeping like a little part. Like they also said, like they would continue just their esports operations for now, because like Kronk, of course, still respects just like competitive integrity, and like dropping a roster in the middle of a challengers season is not like very respectful.
They could still might as well just sell their roster slot to another org, right? Like the Guard could be potentially.
I'm pretty
up.
sure. I'm pretty sure that they aren't really allowed to sell the slot. It's more about just
So
letting the
realistically,
players get acquired.
they're not going to leave, are they? because then they would just be leaving the guard players as free agents. It's like,
But wait,
Here's what I think.
Then?
Okay. I mean, it just depends on what the guard is going to do. If they are,
they'll stay. If they win, they'll stay.
If they don't stay, I could see G2 buying the roster.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't care. Like, if the guard as an organization gets in, I just want the 5 players. Those 5 players, which stand for the guard. Those 5 players deserve the shot at franchising. That's my point. Like, I don't care if they are under the.
Please don't let G2 buy this.
I mean, yeah, maybe not G2, but
I just
some
don't
other
like
org.
G2, but that's
I mean,
a personal thing.
That's the only org I really think are willing to invest in that, because other orgs are going budget mode now. So, and G2,
Anyway.
I don't know how, but they have like infinite money.
Bodok business talk. Sleeper.
Business, board pro business. Let's go.
0-0 Nation. They could do something. I've heard they're all right, but the Union's just been kind of dominating.
Zand wants revenge. Let's not forget that.
True.
Yeah.
9Z have looked pretty dominant in their league, and Fusion have looked good as well. But 9Z did 3-0 Fusion in pretty convincing fashion. So
okay.
Yeah.
I think Fusion are coming in as the weakest team, but who knows? You never know.
Who knows?
They could pull off something here, but a double elimination playoff bracket, which is nice.
Wait, they have a Mizu. Okay, yeah, that explains a lot.
And
okay.
all of that.
I actually might rate 9Z. I might actually rate them. I believe it's all LAN.
Sick.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think this is going to be a great tournament. To be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll be rooting for the guard. Maybe I'll do some watch parties. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah.
Commending his watch parties. Shaking my head.
Why? It's great.
You'll never get a watch party for Masters event, mate. Don't worry.
So sad.
So sad.
Who knows? Maybe I won't need it for champions. We'll see.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah. But thank you very much for watching. That is all we have time for today. Bodok's got to sleep. He's got to graduate. He's got to get an A+.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody who has stayed this far. We really appreciate the support. And yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Don't know when it will be, but we hope you watch that one too. So see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.